All right, guys. We're going to be doing things a little different this week. First off, my name's Chris Gogol, and welcome to my stream. Thank you guys for joining in. If you're watching live in the Twitch chat, um, we're going to be doing this in two parts tonight. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this OCS playoff match. This is game two between Wirfs and Zlorfik. It didn't go very long. It was only a few turns. But it took place at a weird hour, and Tomas was great enough to jump on and stream it for us on his own personal Twitch account, but he didn't save the stream, so we don't have a copy of it saved. And one of the things we're trying to do is have all of the game reviews and replays available for each of the top 16 to all look at, so they all have the same information. So I'm basically going to be doing a short rebroadcast of this game. Then I'll pause the stream for a second, so that way this is its own separate file, and then we'll split off, and then we'll do a game review of my own. So let's do this. And so some of you who were watching, if any of you were watching at 2 o'clock in the morning over the weekend, you may have seen Tomas doing this game live. But we're going to do it again real quick. Wirfs won the first game of the match with his light side deck by 20. That game I did do the live stream of Saturday morning at 2 a.m., but getting up 2 days in a row that early over the weekend was going to completely kill me for work this week. So special thanks to Tomas for jumping in and doing that. Our fault we didn't get him all the right information he needed to properly stream it and record it and all those details. And that's on me and the other streaming guys for not getting him that information in time. Truthfully, I didn't expect anyone to jump right in and play their games within like the first day or two, but they did, and we should have been prepared for that. So that's on me. So let's go ahead and get this game started. Wirfs is going to be dark side this game. Like I said, he won by 20 in the first game, and Zlorfik is playing hidden base. He was expecting the possibility of map or hunt down, so he tried to pick a deck that would counter those well and give him the opportunity to retrieve a lot of force and kind of extend the game. Was not expecting him to play Black Sun, and Black Sun is not a good matchup for hidden base to begin with. Certainly not a good matchup when hidden base needs to win by 21. So we'll look at what we got going on here. We've got Wirfs is starting the usual Shadows of the Empire, wipe them out that we've seen in a lot of Black Sun matchups. And he opted for his third effect this time. He went with something special planned for them. Not one we've usually seen, but hey, you never know. This looks like a bit of a variant because we also look and see that he has Rush to Order Secret Plans as a possibility as well. Normally it's not something you see in a Black Sun deck because of the frequency in which they like to use Ellis, so limiting that doesn't seem like it's usually a common play. Now, it could be something you might want to do against a deck like Prophet if he was expecting Prophet, which is something that Zlorfik has been known to play with 2 or 3 copies of Neighbor and Leads. Maybe that's why he opted to do that, so he could start this instead, and it was a very tech-specific for your opponent kind of counter. That's what you see a lot in these match play format events, especially with the OCS. You will see some strange cards in each deck, and usually they're very specific to the opponent, to what you expect them to play as a potential matchup, what you've seen them play in other decks, in other tournaments, and you're just playing your best guessing game as to what they might be using. We look at Zlorfik here. He's starting hidden base with Wackling, a new secret base V, which will help him pull out some systems and also give him his non-unique starfighters deploy cheaper everywhere, not just at their specific systems. And then he's got superficial damage, which lets him forfeit weapons to the use pile. So we expect him to see a lot of space weapons, whether it's proton torpedoes or intruder missiles or X-wing laser cannons. He's playing a lot of space weapons, and then he'll be forfeiting them used to kind of extend the game. Probably see some Baragwins from him as well to retrieve those weapons and kind of drag things out. Probably also Space Luke in there to also retrieve force. The problem with hidden base against Black Sun, of course, is that means that Luke is not on the ground, which means Black Sun is flipped, which means they're doing additional ping damage. They're adding lots of attrition in battles, usually. and they're getting to manipulate their decks and piles to the utmost of their capability. They both start with a pair of grabbers. I expect to see with this type of hidden base, Wirfs to move over pretty quickly. He'll get his sights out. He'll get a Vigo, and he's just going to roll as fast as he can to really just try and turn up the pressure. He won the first game, like I said, by 20. So even if he loses the game, he's really just trying to get him below that number as quickly as he can. Let's just make sure we're streaming right. Apologize for starting a few minutes late. There was some type of issue with my stream key, so I had to jump through some hoops to reset that. Probot Greedo, never y'all know. Also likely a profit counter if he's expecting to be able to drop like Probot or something like that against 3PO with a gift, and then just use Never Y'all Know to make him lost. I don't really realize any other spies other than Probot, but just in case he wants to just kill him and get him off the table early before his opponent like gets to move phase, like do it like deploy phase actions, in case he's going to try and do something clever like neighboring away or anything like that. So, but he just moves the prince over. He doesn't get a Vigo out, but he does flip. We see a bunch of systems come out pretty fast from Zlorfik. I mean, they can pull 2 a turn between the hidden base objective, which lets you deploy systems, and the new secret base, which also gets systems out. Huge activation jump for both players between the Coruscant sites and the systems. They're both getting 14 right here, and it's probably just going to go up from there. So he'll drop a card to peek. He'll do. There's a projection of a Skywalker on this site now, which will cancel or basically make that force drain -1, and that'll slow him down there. He'll get the city out, get his 2-0. Doesn't have an Emperor yet though, but he is gonna try and just get an extra battleground. Move the prince, slide him over, get away from that site. Nobody's pulled battle order just yet, but I'm sure it'll be coming pretty soon. There's an Emperor, there's a Darrow. He's got a Zuckuss in hand. He's probably not really going to want to go to space much this game. He's probably just going to try and just get the Emperor out, the Prince out, put somebody at this place where he can't really drain, and just do the ping damage between the objective and shadows to try and grind his opponent down below 20 cards. As you see, Hidden Base puts a lot of cards on the table. They've already got 6 locations, 5 locations in play. They could flip now, which could hinder things a little bit. And obviously they're going to go to space as quickly as they can. And he does flip the objective, which will make him spend a force every time he wants to. Every time he wants to draw a card, he's going to have to spend a force first to draw a card from force problems first, use 1 force. So this Shadows of the Empire ping will get a little more expensive. He's actually going to have to spend 1 to then draw 1. So he's really going to need to leave at least 2 cards there. But that shouldn't be too problematic because there's not a lot of stuff he's going to want to deploy this game. You could see a couple of EPPs that you would need to be a little careful about, but he's got the Gick in his hand already. And he's got the ability to retrieve a guy with the text on the sewer here. Well, Zuckuss is going to come out fast. He's going to try and probe. I wonder if Probot counts as a probe droid for the purposes of... Oh yeah, he is a probe droid. It's in his text right there. Probe droid. Interesting little thing about the... opponent occupies, you can probe there. If you probe, you retrieve 1 force for using a probe droid if they were the probe card. So if you could have used probe bot to probe that system, you could have retrieved a force. But unlikely to actually happen. Hey, welcome, Sater. Glad you're able to join us. Yeah, we actually started on time this week. Unfortunately, I had to start a few minutes early last week because I had tickets to wrestling and had to make sure I left to meet my friends since they were the ones who were giving me the ticket. So we got Zuckus and Forlom now at Naboo. We've got three battlegrounds. We've got Shadows Ping. We've got Double Ping. Um, it's going to be hard for Zlorfik to. I mean, yeah, he can do a lot of damage in space here, obviously. Um, but we'll see. I'm sure we'll see Wirfs pull battle plan or battle order now to make him start paying for these drains in space. And of course, he can use the hidden base objective as well to also cancel force drains. So he's got a Gick and a Gick combo. Interesting. So he's got the masterful move to pull the Gick that he wants to use, and then he's got the Gick combo to cancel neighbor leads and reacts anyway. He was really banking. I think he was really banking on Zlorfik playing profit and was just going all in on counters for it. Zlorfik does pay to drain at Kifix. Oh, I'm sorry, at Narshada. That's a drain at 2 there. He loses Boba Fett Bounty Hunter and that masterful move. And then he'll pay to drain at Kifix there as well. And he's going to pitch Gurium probably like an Emperor or something here. I know he top decks a Boba Fett from his Force pile. Interesting. And then he's going to use Shadows. He's going to pay 1, and he's going to draw a card, leaving him with only 1 Force now. Like I said, it's going to cost him 2 a turn. That forces Zlorfik to lose It's a Hit. And now we see Luke V, which is going to help him start retrieving Force. But now he's got to deal with a whole bunch of other problems. And at some point in time, we're going to see Wirfs play this Voyeur that keeps popping up, which is ironic considering it was played against him several times during his match during Game 1. Now he's going to put a card down, peek through his force pile, figure out what he wants to spend. Again, he doesn't really have a lot to do. He would like to have a second ship, I'm sure, to try and accelerate this probing process. He's going to Shadows pull. Gets another Emperor, which he didn't really want. Top decks 2. Tries to play in all wings to take a non-unique ship into hand, which does not get grabbed on either grabber. I guess potentially he'll just play the Voyeur and call that out at some point. I don't know. Right now he only controls one system, so he can only cancel 1 drain. So he cancels one of the 2 drains here, then drains the other one for power pivot. Plus he lost 2 cards. He lost an Out of Commission and a Stay Sharp. Again, more weapons cards for hidden base. Now he's going to use a Dark Time to activate 1. Then he's going to play Blow Parry to take the top card of Force Pile into hand. It's not drawing, essentially. He's taking the card into hand. It's a similar mechanic, but it should not cost him 1 Force excuse me, from the objective. And he'll go ahead and try and probe Naboo. It's unlikely not Naboo. It's very likely Narshada, I would guess. But Wirfs is going to do this the long way, where he's going to move to the systems that aren't occupied, that avoid the battle. But my money would be on Narshada. I'm an excellent hidden base guesser. It's also the reason I'm not allowed to guess Christmas presents anymore either. Zlorfik will get to pay to drain in both spots, both systems. He'll cause 4 more force loss, which is certainly good that he's accelerating things. He also gets to draw the top card for with a new secret base when you force drain. At a battleground system, you can draw the top card of your reserve deck. That's once per turn. You can do that. So he just got himself another card. See if it helps. It's probably going to have to be... He's going to have to try and shoot Zuckuss down. It's really his... if he can shoot Zuckuss down, he can keep his objective from getting placed out of play. He can continue to cancel these drains. So then he's really just eating the Vengeance and the Shadows damage, which would be 4 a turn. Luke retrieves 1 and cuts it to 3. If he has any Baragwins and can retrieve a weapon or 2, he can prolong the game, hopefully long enough for himself, that he'd be able to get enough drains going in space at 2 apiece. I mean, looking at 2, 2, 2, that can certainly add up pretty quickly. As you can see, Wirfs is already down. He's got 23 cards down plus 9 in hand, so he's down to 30. So he's already made he's got a decent chunk of cards going to the loss pile already on turn 4 here. He's down to 26, 35 himself, but he gets just a random B-Wing out. So he gets that 3rd system. He's moving to keep pace. To try and keep, well, A, to block a drain from Zuckuss there, but also to, oh, now he's going to play the Voyeur. He names all wings. There was no copies of all wings found. Okay. And he gets played Visored Vision right back, and he names Voyeur, which gets grabbed. See if he causes the force. He might as well play it lost at this point, because it was grabbed. So that's going to make the Voyeur lost. So he takes 1 more card away. They basically trade cards. But here's going to come another round of Shadows paying damage. Now he does have a 2nd system, so he can cancel both of these ground drains, saving himself 2 force right now, but he's still losing 2 to the objective and 1 to Shadows. And he's going to probe Tatooine. Oh, he does pick up another ship. He picked up Ellison Hinthra. Oh, it was Tatooine. Okay. Well, look at that. I was wrong. It happens. Hidden base guessing is, sometimes people just do it randomly too, which I know I like to do. I like to just shuffle and just pick one randomly, so that way you don't really give your opponent anything away when you're choosing what your hidden base is. It's tougher online too, because you can read your opponent's face and reactions a little bit to how they deploy things and how they move, how you move stuff around the board, to figure out what their response is. Curiously enough, he probes the hidden base and then he deploys Ellis and Banis in front at a Noat, and then he moves Zuckuss away. So he doesn't engage. He's just playing a game of keep away. He could have tried to engage and try and take down Luke and Obi and Radiant 7 there. I'm sure with the amount of force he had saved, you'd see something like a rapid fire and a weapon get deployed from out of the reserve deck. So he's really just trying to just force Zlorfik to commit more cards to the table to kind of drag the game out, to kind of force him to move and shuffle his stuff around and just keep making him work for it. He's already getting pretty low on life force, so All Wirfs is trying to do is extend the game long enough to get him down below 20, and all Zlorfik is trying to do is mitigate as much damage as he can until he can retrieve enough cards to stay above 20. Not a terribly interactive matchup. Which is why also I believe this game did not go very long, but from what they were telling me. After this game is over, we'll be doing a quick pause in the stream so I can break it up and split it into two separate videos. And then I'll jump right back on and we'll do one of my Gemp game reviews and talk a little bit more about that stuff, about the OCS, and the stuff I normally do on my weekly Monday show. Wedge with the next wing laser cannon going after Zuckuss. Well, he should hit Zuckuss almost guaranteed because he retrieved a 6, so that's just overkill. But yeah, Zuckuss is only maneuver 3, so if you're adding 3 to it, the only thing you can do is just not draw a 0 or a 1 because it could get dark timed. Oh, but he did get the fist as well, which is a capital. Armor 12. It's going to be pretty tough to shoot at armor 12, even with, intruder missiles and all that stuff. The key card that would allow you to be able to shoot something like that, or the executor, is combined attack, which hasn't been coded into Gemp yet. It's one of those cards people keep asking about. When are you going to code this? When are you going to code this? Apparently it's a giant pain in the ass to code because you're firing 2 weapons simultaneously at one target, and apparently it's a logistical headache trying to get it all figured out. So Wedge moves to block the drain in space, but it'll be 1 and 1 on the ground now, +2 from the objective, so it's really just accelerated the damage by probing the hidden base. There goes another projection off the top, there goes a barrier off the top, there goes an intruder missile from hand. There goes an artillery from hand. He's already down to 19, so if he loses too much more from reserve deck, there's not going to be much that he can do. Yeah, and there he goes. He's going to call it game right here. The Phalene's fist is going to come out. You're going to see somebody go on and pilot it, probably Django or a Vigo. They're going to beat up this lone B-Wing. He's going to, even if he just gicks it or whatever, who jixes it, which he may or may not have, he's just going to take a beating then and then just keep getting whittled down too much. Like I said, not much. And Zlorfik, obviously defending world champion, knew from the beginning when he saw the objective removed that, or revealed rather, that this wasn't going to go very well for him. It was going to be a pretty quick game. I talked to Wirfs a little bit about it, and he was just like, yeah, in the chat they were talking a little bit about it. It was like this game, I think by like turn 3, he was ready like, yeah, I think we can stop now. But they played it out 1 or 2 more turns just to, make sure. You got to give yourself a fair chance just to see if there's anything that you can do. If you can win a battle or 2, or your opponent doesn't get quite the draw that they're expecting to. If your hidden base can stay on the table a while, maybe there's a chance that you can pull something out. But once those things start happening, the ships hit the table, the hidden base gets put out of play, you can kind of see the writing on the wall, and Zlorfik went ahead and conceded there. So we're going to pause the stream. I'll be offline for like 30 seconds or so. I just have to update the title on the video, switch it back over to my Gemp series, and then we will restart it, and we'll talk more about some of that stuff there. So hang on, guys. You're back in about 30 seconds.